Number 14 is the one that actually decides whether you'll ever be loved right. And most men never even notice they're doing it wrong. 1. You stop trying to prove yourself in every single conversation, and that alone changes how a room reads you. Younger guys jump into correct people to one up a story to make sure everyone knows what they know. You don't do that anymore. You let people finish their thoughts. You nod, you ask a follow-up question instead of hijacking the moment. That silence isn't weakness, it's control. People feel safer around someone who doesn't need to win every exchange, and safety is the single most attractive thing a man can offer without saying a word. 2. You've learned the difference between being needed and being wanted, and you only chase the second one now. In your 20s, you might have stayed in situations because you felt useful, because someone relied on you, because the living felt selfish. Now you understand that being needed can trap you in something hollow. Being wanted is different, it's mutual, it's chosen every day, not out of obligation. An attractive older man protects his time and his heart for people who choose him freely, not people who just happen to lean on him. 3. Your body language slows down without you even trying. Watch a nervous young guy in a bar. Everything's fast, fidgety, or corrected. Watch a grounded older man. His movements are economical, unhurried, like he's got nowhere else more important to be. That slowness reads as confidence even when you're not thinking about confidence at all. People unconsciously mirror the energy in the room. And if your energy is calm and settled, you become the emotional anchor point without lifting a finger. 4. You stop needing an audience to validate your decisions. There was a time you might have posted about a big purchase, a trip, event at work, just to hear people say nice. Now you do things because they matter to you quietly, and if people notice, fine. And if they don't, also fine. That inner locus of approval is rare and magnetic because most people are still performing for likes and comments. And you've clearly graduated from that. Confidence that doesn't need witnesses is confidence that can't be shaken. 5. You know how to sit with discomfort instead of fixing it immediately. When a partner is upset, younger men often panic and try to solve the problem in 30 seconds just to make the tension go away. You've learned that sometimes the fix isn't the point. Presence is the point. You can sit next to someone's pain without rushing to patch it. And that patience alone makes people trust you with their real feelings instead of the polished version they show everyone else. If sign number 4 just hit way too close to home, there are 2 pink hearts in the comments right now. I want to see exactly how many of you are feeling this one. 6. You've made peace with not being everyone's type, and honestly, that peace is what makes you more attractive to the people who are your type, trying to appeal to everyone flattens your personality into something forgettable. You stop softening your opinions. Stop hiding your weird sense of humor. Stop pretending to like things you don't. Specificity is magnetic, the version of you that shows up fully. Quirks included as the version people actually remember and care more of. 7. You genuinely listen instead of just waiting for your turn to talk. This sounds simple, but almost nobody does it well. An attractive older man asks a question and actually processes the answer instead of mentally drafting his next sentence. People can feel the difference immediately. It changes their nervous system. They relax around you because they sense they're actually being heard for once instead of just tolerated until it's their turn to perform. 8. You stop chasing status symbols and started investing in experiences and depths instead. The flashy car, the loud brand names, the constant need to signal success outwardly. That face fades for men who've actually built something real. What replaces that is quieter but far more compelling. Good stories, real skills, genuine curiosity about the world. People are drawn to substance once they've been burned enough times by shiny surfaces that turn out to be empty underneath. 9. You can be wrong and say so without your whole identity collapsing. Younger men often treat being wrong like an attack on their worth, so they get defensive. They argue, they double down. You've been wrong enough times to know it's not the end of the world, and that ease around your own mistakes makes you feel incredibly safe to be around. Nobody has to walk on eggshells with you because your ego doesn't need constant protecting. 10. You understand humor is about timing and warmth, not about being the loudest person in the room. Your jokes land because they come from actually paying attention. An inside reference, a perfectly timed observation, not a rehearsed, but you used on everyone. That kind of humor makes people feel specifically seen, like the joke was made just for them, and that specific attention is 100 times more attractive than generic charisma aimed at nobody in particular. Ladies, what's one thing you do that guys totally misread as disingenuous? 11. You've stopped keeping score in relationships. Younger dynamics often turn into quiet tallies. Who paid last time? Who initiated the last takes? Who apologized first? That scorekeeping poisons intimacy because it turns connection into a transaction. You've let that go. You give generously without mentally logging it. And that generosity without resentment is one of the rarest traits a partner can find because most people are still secretly counting. 12. You have hobbies that exist purely because you enjoy them, not because they make you look interesting online. Whether it's woodworking, cooking, hiking, restoring an old motorcycle, whatever it's you do it for the process, not the audience. That kind of intrinsic passion is deeply attractive because it signals you have a full inner new life. You're not an empty vessel waiting for someone else to fill your time and give you meaning. 13. You learn to apologize cleanly without the sorry, but that undoes the whole apology. A real apology from a mature man sounds like I was wrong. I hurt you. I understand why. I do better. No excuses tack on to the end. No subtle blame shifting disguised as an explanation. People remember exactly how it feels to receive an apology like that. And they crave that emotional cleanliness because most apologies they've received were half-hearted and self-serving. 14. You know your own patterns well enough to interrupt them because they cause damage. Maybe you used to shut down during conflict or get defensive when criticized or withdraw when things got too vulnerable. Self-awareness at this level means you can catch yourself mid-pattern and say, I notice I'm doing this thing. Give me a second. That kind of emotional self-management is incredibly rare, and partners who've dated emotionally reactive people will find it almost irresistible. 15. You do it for yourself, not for trends, and it shows in a quiet, effortless way. You're not chasing whatever's borrowed this month. You figure out what actually suits your body, your face, your personality, and you stick with it. That consistency rates as self-knowledge, and self-knowledge is inherently attractive because it suggests you've done the deeper work of figuring out who you actually are, not just how to look like everyone else. Be honest, are you actually living these signs, or is still performing the old version of attractive? 16. You can be alone without being lonely, and that distinction changes everything about how you show up in relationships. Neediness comes from using another person to escape your own discomfort with solitude. You build a life you actually enjoy on your own. So when you choose to be with someone, it reads as a choice, not a risky mission. People can feel the difference between I want you and I need you to save me from myself. And the first one is magnetic while the second one is exhausting. 17. You stop needing to be the smartest person in every conversation. You ask questions you genuinely don't know the answer to. You say, I hadn't thought about it that way without feeling diminished. That intellectual humility invites people to open up, to share their perspective without fear of being corrected or talked over. And people remember conversations where they actually got to contribute something real. 18. You touch base emotionally instead of just physically. A hand on the shoulder, checking in with how are you actually doing and meaning it, remembering small details from 3 weeks ago and bringing them up unprompted. These tiny acts of attentiveness cost you almost nothing, but they signal a level of care that most people are starving for. Attraction isn't just built in big romantic gestures, it's built in 100 small moments of being genuinely noticed. 19. You've learned to disagree without making it a battle for dominance. Two people can want different things and both be reasonable, and you've internalized that completely. Instead of needing to win the argument, you focus on understanding the other position first. That approach de-escalates conflict almost instantly, and it teaches the people around you that disagreement doesn't have to mean danger, which is an enormous relief for anyone who's dated someone volatile before. 20. You take care of your health quietly, not as a performance for social media, but because you actually want more years and more energy for the life you're building. Whether that's lifting weights, or walking daily, sleeping properly, or just cutting back on the things that drain you. That discipline isn't flashy, but it's deeply felt by the people around you. Vitality is attractive at every age, and the fact that you're maintaining it without broadcasting it makes it even more compelling. Which side on this list describes you the most? Number 14, number 16, or number 20? 21. You become genuinely curious about other people's lives instead of just their surface details. You ask about someone's childhood, their fears, what actually lights them up, not just their job title or their weekend plans. That depth of curiosity is rare because most people are too wrapped up in themselves to ask real questions. When you show up curious, people feel like they're being discovered instead of just met, and that feeling is addictive in the best way. 22. You've stopped trying to fix people who don't want to be friends. Earlier in life, you might have poured energy into saving someone from their own patterns. And now you understand that real change only happens when someone chooses it themselves, and you can support without overriding their autonomy. That respect for someone else's process instead of trying to control the outcome makes people feel trusted rather than managed, and trust is the foundation every strong connection is built on. 23. You can hold silence in a conversation without rushing to fill it. Most people panic during a lull and blurt out something just to kill the discomfort. You've learned that silence can actually deepen a moment, that not every gap needs words. That comfort with quiet makes conversations with you feel unusually intimate, like there's no performance happening, just two people actually being present with each other. 24. You refine what you're actually looking for instead of just taking whatever attention comes your way. Younger men often chase validation from anyone who shows interest. You've done enough dating, enough relationships, enough disappointment to know exactly what qualities actually matter to you long term. That clarity means you're not scattered or desperate. You're selective, and selectiveness signals value in a way that chasing everything never can. 25. You've learned to give compliments that are specific instead of generic. Instead of "you look nice," you notice the actual thing, and the way someone led up telling a story, a choice that they made that showed the real character. Specific attention proves you were actually paying attention, not just reciting a line you use on everyone. People remember specific compliments for years because they feel truly seen, not just flattered. If you've got a question about anything I've covered in past videos, throw it in the comments and I'll answer it personally. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button now because you don't want to miss what's coming next. 26. You've stopped performing masculinity and started just living it. There's no need to prove toughness, dominance, or control anymore because you're secure enough in who you are that you don't need external markers to confirm it. That security lets you be soft when softness is called for and firm when firmness is needed, without either one threatening your sense of self. Your strength looks flexible, not rigid, and people can sense that flexibility immediately. 27. You've made peace with your own timeline instead of comparing it to everyone else's. Maybe your career took longer to stabilize. Maybe you find real love later than you expected. Maybe you're still figuring out parts of your life. You've stopped treating that as failure and started treating it as your actual story, unhurried and honest. That self-acceptance radiates outward, and people are drawn to men who've stopped apologizing for the pace of their own becoming. Your attraction as an older man has almost nothing to do with looks or status. It's built through calm presence, emotional security, and genuine self-acceptance. This video breaks down 27 signs that prove you're already becoming that man, whether you've noticed it or not. That random share with zero explanation, not random. It means she is already thinking about you. More on this next video.